Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer surprise pop-up video. Surprise, here I am. And we are still at my parents' house and I have a lovely backdrop. We are joined by the two queens. Hello, Your Majesty. Hello, Your Majesty. We have evening wear, bejewelled Majesty. And we have Daywear Majesty. Which one's your favourite? Let me know in the comment section. But that isn't what this video is all about. This video is about Samantha Markle. Now, you know that on this channel, I very rarely talk about the Markles. In fact, you know, on my live weekly chats, sometimes I even ban talk of the Markles after a certain point. But you guys have been asking me to talk about Samantha Markle in the UK. And I kind of agree, it is quite a big story, so I wanted to kind of go through it, dissect it. She has given a UK TV interview for Jeremy Vine, which I have just watched. I have just watched a 17-minute section of this interview, so I shall be talking about exactly what I think about that. And I also have an article which I've read about her in the UK, so lots of things to look at and dissect. But one of the things I want to do first of all is go live to the chat room. I have my laptop and I want to see what you guys are kind of saying. So please at any time let me know your thoughts and comments on Samantha Markle in the UK. And yes, James Medford, the Great Markle debacle, as I called it. Okay, so I'm not going to do all the hellos because it will literally take up too much time. So I changed the title of this video a few times because having watched the interview after I made the notes from the article, I kind of think the article may have got things a little bit wrong. So my original title, I'll read it to you, was Samantha Markle is in the UK to confront Meghan. Shock. But having watched the actual interview where she actually spoke in her own words, I downgraded the title slightly on the in that regard, because I kind of don't think she is here to confront. I think confront is one of those media words, and if you just go by the articles, that's the words being bandied around, but I don't think that is the accurate word to use, so I changed the title. So she appeared on the Jeremy Vine Channel 5 TV show in the UK, and she wanted to deliver a message to her sister and wanted to kind of right some of the misconceptions. And she blamed a lot of the misconceptions on the media. She did also admit a few things herself, and she did apologise as well, which we'll get to in a moment. But she said, and I quote this word, she wants to move forward with a peaceful resolve. So I think she is ready for a reconciliation. But as we know, you know, all the great history of it. We're not going to go into all the history. We all know about the staged photographs, the heart attack, not going to the wedding, all that kind of thing. We know all about that, so I'm not going to dig over a great deal of all of that. But I think she knows that to get a peaceful resolve, it's not just a case of speaking to Meghan, it's also regaining her trust, because there is a massive trust issue here. She and Thomas have both broken the trust, and that's why Doria, you know, is so wonderful, because she hasn't broken any trust. She hasn't put a foot wrong. Good old Doria. We like Doria. We love Doria in the UK. Elegant, graceful. I've said this before, and I think Samantha Markle and Thomas both need to show Meghan that they've changed. I think simply apologising, meeting Meghan, isn't just going to cut it. You know, there's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done to rebuild that trust, especially when, you know, she admits in the interview that she hasn't spoken to Meghan in 3 years, so it's not 10 years, it's 3 years. So even before Harry, they weren't, you know, there was problems. In fact, Jeremy Vine did discuss possible jealousy from Samantha's part towards Meghan. Samantha did dismiss the jealousy, and she said she only wants the best for Meghan, and she's very happy that Meghan's found her prince, and she admitted that Harry was very handsome, and she said that, you know, one of the things about being an older sister is that, you know, you want to be able to look back on your family and your younger sister and know that she's in safe hands, and she knows that Meghan is in safe hands with Harry and the royal family. So she did, you know, she did say some nice things. Like I said, she blamed a lot of it on the media. The media, and she used the word madness, overwhelming and powerful. So, and she also admitted that even though she considers the Markles as a family a kind of, a TV family, like, in the TV industry, she said she thought that she could deal with everything, but she wasn't prepared for the madness, the overwhelming and the powerful force of the media. And also she kind of has learnt, I think, that if you say something it can get twisted. If you don't say something they make up stories, which they do that. So she blamed the press. However, I put in big capital letters here when I was watching the interview, she and Thomas let them in. Harry gave that warning. He gave a warning. And Samantha did kind of say, well, yeah, he gave the warning, but there was no follow-up. The palace didn't give any instructions on, well, the simple instruction was, don't talk to the press. They broke that advice. They didn't follow that advice. If they had followed the advice, there would be no need for the palace to follow up. They broke the advice. So I'm not going to let her off the hook with that one. I think, a fundamental mistake was letting the press in. And they did that. They did that all by themselves. She defended the staged clothes photo because she said it wasn't for him getting measured for a suit. It was for him getting measured for a hoodie because he wears bigger, oversized hoodies. So she said the media twisted that one. Well, okay, maybe we could give her that one. Maybe. She admitted that he did take money, but that he has turned down 50,000, and I think she meant dollars, $50,000 interviews. So she said that is proof that it wasn't just about the money. She admitted he's only ever had 1,500. Again, I don't know if she meant dollars or pounds, but either way, 1,500 for the paid photographs. And she said that the photographer and the media made more money than what Thomas ever did. She said that it wasn't just one heart attack before the wedding, it was in fact two. He had an earlier one, and he'd written the speech, he was practicing the speech, he ignored the heart attack because he wanted to go to the wedding. And then on the advice from doctors and all of that's when he decided not to attend the wedding. She also made a point of saying that she considers Meghan her blood half sister, which of course she is. And she just made kind of a weird remark, I think, about pointing that out. Why would you do that? Of course you're the blood half sister. You share the same father. She just made a weird kind of point of pointing that out. She said she admitted to the Dutch ass comment when she called Meghan a Dutch ass. She admitted to it. She said that she regrets it and that she apologises for it. And she did directly apologise to Meghan for the Dutch ass comment and some other various comments. She did say that that's her wit. Take all of this from what you will, but this is what she is saying. I'm not making things up. This is what she said. She said that it's her wit. She denied some of the name calling. However, that some of it may have been taken out of context. The title of the book, Princess Pushy, she said it was meant to be ironic because the actual content of the book isn't about that. Again, take from that what you will. Again, she admitted not spoken in 3 years, so that obviously shows some kind of a divide before then. That's when Jeremy Vine started to talk about, is Samantha possibly jealous? And by the way, Jeremy Vine did give Samantha a little bit of a hard time. I mean, he certainly wasn't on her side during this interview. And she did, I have to say, handle herself well. She spoke well. She had, a comment for everything. Whether she planned all of this, again, we really don't know. She said that she did a lot of this speaking out and lashing out because she feels protective over Thomas and the way that the media has portrayed the family. She didn't think that was fair. She didn't like the way that he'd been portrayed, and in her words, as a slob. And she said that because private channels of communication... By the way, channels of communication feature quite a lot in the interview because Jeremy Vine said, repeatedly kept saying, why didn't you try and contact privately? Why all of this on Twitter? And her defence to that was that they did try private channels of communication. But that failed, so they went public. Well, I mean, again, I think that's Meghan wanting her to rebuild the trust, because obviously if those channels have failed and she keeps quiet, then Meghan would know that, you know, she's on the track to being trusted, even if it is a long road. But because she broke that, I think that kind of compounded. Maybe it was a test on Meghan's part, you know, if I deny, what will she do next? What will Thomas do next? And I think they kind of failed that test a little bit, if indeed it was a test. She said that she hopes to have a chance to speak to Thomas. Not to Thomas, to Meghan. And she said that she's visited Buckingham Palace, but of course Meghan wouldn't have been in Buckingham Palace. But she's been to London. She said she wanted to visit London. Of course, she has just flown in from Italy, where I think a lot of this is to do with her PR manager. Her PR manager has quite a lot to do with this. And I think she did the Jeremy Vine TV show because she wanted to make her presence known to Meghan that she was here, if indeed those channels of communication weren't getting to her. Although, you know, one wonders, well, you know, maybe they could talk through Doria. Maybe Doria isn't communicating. Maybe Doria has communicated and Meghan, you know, didn't want to know about it. Again, she apologised directly to Meghan. And I might read the apology. In fact, yes, I'm going to read. I think I brought it up, so let me just find the actual apology and I'll read it to you in case you haven't. By the way, this whole thing is on YouTube, so you can go and check it out. So Samantha's message for Meghan reads as... so she was asked if she had a message for Meghan, what would she say? So she said, "There is so much water under the bridge, and so much has spun out of control that was never intended to. I think everybody was hurt by not being included or invited to the wedding. But I felt as though it could have all been nipped in the bud had everyone been included, and we all just agreed to move forward with positive resolve. And the hurt and feelings wouldn't have snowballed. But, believe it or not, it doesn't mean that we love you any less. I just think that families can be this way, when there's confusion and when people are hurt. So moving forward, I apologise, and I wish things could be different." So there you go. Those are her words from the horse's mouth, so to speak. I'm not calling her a horse. So there, I've just kind of put out what was said. I guess you all kind of need to make up your own minds on it. Do we think Meghan will meet Samantha? I don't think she will feel pressured into it. I think if Samantha's doing this, doing the media, turning up at the palace, if she's doing this to kind of pressurise or shame Meghan into meeting her, it's not going to work. Meghan's not going to fall for that. If she rocks up at some royal event, maybe when Harry and Meghan visit Sussex, if she turns up, I don't think it's going to make any difference. I think Meghan will just have good grace and ignore, actually, because it's never nice to be ambushed. And if Samantha is planning an ambush, I don't think that would be very fair at all. So I'm going to go to the comments section and see what people have been saying, because I'm sure it's probably quite a controversial topic. Lots of people saying hello, so hello to you. Lots of people saying hello, so hello to you if I haven't said hello already. OEM Faney says, her strategy is to catch headlines. Elliot, you missed the boat on this one. There is so much here. She's not gone to see her own father. Red flag. I haven't missed the boat. I was actually waiting for things to unfold. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes one of my own strategies is to wait and see, because usually some things in the media that get spun over the internet and other, publications usually have one source, and then things spiral. And I wanted to see how this kind of panned out. Like, I know that she's been in the UK for a good few days now, maybe even best part of a week. I can't remember the day that she flew over, but I wanted to kind of see how things panned out, what happened, and I'm glad I did, because during that time she's done the interview, the Jeremy Vine interview, so we actually have her own words rather than some kind of maybe even made up article. So I'm quite glad that I did that. Marilyn says, is it George V on my t-shirt? No, although he does look very similar. It's Tsar Nicholas II, who did look very similar to George V, obviously. They are related. Mrs. VSNCO9 says the Duchess should stay clear. How much did she get paid for the interview? I do not know. That would be a private matter unless she disclosed herself. D3 says actions speak louder than words. I agree. That's what I meant about proving that trust. Cindy Munger says I spent 90 minutes on Redbubble. Oh my god. Yes, Redbubble is brilliant. This is where I had the T-shirt from, Redbubble, and they have literally like everything on there. So do go check it out. Stephanie A. Dory says she's there to get publicity for herself. She wants to be a part of the royal goings on. Again, if she does want to be a part of Meghan's life and being invited to things, the way that she's gone about the whole thing is just totally not conducive to that whatsoever. Laverne says never will happen. She needs to slip her back under her slimy rock. Strongly worded. Audrey says, hello Elliot, love the shirt. Happy to see the Queen there. Her sister should go home. Her sister is a very jealous person. She wants her moment of fame. She will never stop, so sad. Lots of people commenting on Meghan. Maria saw the interview. Commenting on Samantha, rather. Annette says talk is cheap. Chiming in says Samantha is just looking for attention. Dion thinks that by tomorrow she'll be back to bad-mouthing Meghan. Well, if she is, that will prove that she's not to be trusted, and then Meghan will, of course, have been right. Arnold says, why don't they talk to Doria or even say her name? Maybe they have. Maybe Doria's not getting involved. Marilyn says, Elliot, you actually believe that I'm not going to say that word, that SM was saying you're so sweet. I don't say I believed it. I say, I'm putting it out there that that's what she did say. And when you check and balance that against articles which are completely negative, again, you do have to wonder about motives. And like I say, I'm leaving that for you guys to go watch the interview, see what you think. Do you think she's lying? Do you think she's spinning a bit of a yarn? But that is what she said. That's what I'm saying. That's what she said. Rochelle says Samantha has to earn the Duchess's trust first. Stop talk and act with respect. Mrs. VS79 says Samantha hasn't spoken to Meghan in 10 years. Samantha did say 3. Again, that was what she said. G-Sweet says Samantha will have to prove through actions that she is changing. Also, trust takes time to regain through those actions. I agree completely. OEM Faney says, here's a timeline. Samantha has never lived with Meghan, hated the fact that she was black. And then to the issue, it's difficult for a white person to understand here. We work on diversity versus race. I can neither confirm nor deny any of that, but, in Samantha's words, she said that she wasn't jealous, even of the acting career. Take from that what you will. Melody says, I feel like she's just trying a new tactic so she can continue her viability. You think she's hired a publicist? Well, she has a PR manager, that's for sure. Maria says Samantha lies. She's very good at it. She was very well spoken. I will give her that. But like I say, who knows whether she was telling the truth. By the way, if you've missed any of this, if you've just arrived, you can always watch this on catch up. We've been on live for 18 minutes. Mrs. BSN says the guy who was doing the measurements is not a tailor. Well, she said he was getting measured for a hoodie. And yes, I did hear the story that he wasn't a tailor, but I don't know even how true that is. That's what I mean. There's such a web of lies surrounding all of this. It is a mess, and you can see why Meghan doesn't really want to be involved yet. I think she wants to let a lot of water pass under the bridge, I think. Right, I'm going to skip down to the bottom of the comments. Jamie says, Samantha is a loon that can't be trusted, plain and simple. Chiming in thinks the pictures were all staged. Mrs. BSNC9 says, I went to Redbubble and I will be broke soon. I think I need to shares in Redbubble. I'm promoting them too much. Sketch says, Daily Mail has video footage of Samantha's mother and daughter prior to the royal wedding. Noelle said Samantha had no interest in Meghan until she started dating Harry. Like I say, you guys are quite right. There are so many questions outstanding. Hello to Ingrid. Marilyn says, Samantha Markle was there for the show of it all. That is not how you give an apology, not a heartfelt one anyway. Arnold says she didn't go to Meghan's first wedding. Why does she think she should have been invited to this one? Maybe that's another reason why she wasn't. So loads and loads of comments about this, and I knew that it was going to be a very controversial topic, but I wanted to just make this video to kind of put out what we know, what's been said, I shall say, so that we know what's been said. We know what Samantha has said. We know what we know what tact the articles are going at, and we know the negative side of it. We don't have an official side from Meghan. Meghan hasn't spoken out, Doria hasn't spoken out, and Thomas has been quiet for a while now. He has piped down a little bit. So I think, again, it all just comes down to the matter of trust. I think if they want any kind of meaningful relationship, and as in her words, she said she wants peaceful resolve. So if she does want peaceful resolve, I think she needs to rebuild the trust. She needs to keep quiet for a good while. Let Meghan settle down. Let Meghan come to terms with the betrayal that I think she's probably felt. And only then will Meghan be able to reach out to them, or rather feel the need or the desire to reach out to the family. I think they need to wait until Meghan is ready to reach out to them. And then that tricky business of rebuilding the trust, rebuilding the relationship can begin. But it's going to take time. It's going to take time to rebuild the trust. The trust was totally shattered, obliterated even. So yeah, that is where we are at. So I'm going to leave the Great Markle debacle. I'm sure it will rumble on for ages to come. And I am going to go, what time is it? It is, it's quite late here in the UK. So I'm going to go and get some dinner, as we call it, or some tea. It's usually takeaway on a Monday. Maybe KFC. So I'm going to go now. If you've enjoyed this video and this discussion, and it is an open discussion forum, so please leave your comments. Please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me in Shropshire, goodbye.